Alright, yo, so hopefully this goes live. But this is Trewth for Hip Hop, and I am here with Prevail. Prevail, I mean, if you don't know who this is, come on. Like, this is a legend in the scene. He's been putting on for a long time. You know, a very recognizable face, very recognizable sound. You know, he's been a pillar for Vancouver, and obviously that's why he's here tonight at the Hip Hop Vancouver 50 years celebration. So what does this mean to you to be a part of this, and how do you feel being included in this, and what does this mean for hip hop in Vancouver?
Well, come on, man. Look, it's a much older culture than I've been around for, so I've been a part of it for a long time in my mind. But just to think about seeing that poster walking in to 25 cents, you know, entry fee, my homie Scotty and I were going, oh my God, man, look at that thing. It's hand-drawn bill, probably, you know, handwritten, not even photocopied. They got 10 of their friends to draw one up and put them on posts around the thing and go in and go to the party. Amazing. For something that wasn't supposed to, it was supposed to be a flash in the pan, to 50 years and has become arguably one of the most important functional bodies of not only music, but culture worldwide. Not just talking in New York City or when it spread to, you know, Philly, DC, came out to the West Coast, came to Canada, you know, wherever. Worldwide. Hip hop culture, not just rap music. That's the one thing I want to, especially on this day, I really want to emphasize, again, as a student. Hip hop culture, not just the music of rap. The four elements that go into what make this culture, for the fact that it's been around this long and conjoined. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah. You know, touch so many people, so many lives, change so many lives. Do you remember, you know, like either like kind of a pivotal moment or maybe like an initial moment when hip hop really hit you, maybe the first time you heard it, or when it really touched you, you know, on that deeper level that kind of pulled you forward into it?
You're very good at this, by the way.
Yeah, no, appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. It's my second interview too. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, now you're playing. That's cool. Interview's over. Give me that mic. No, I can literally tell you the moment. My cousin had just moved to Victoria from the East Coast, so I'm from Langford originally. Moke only and I grew up not too far away from each other. But, I had already been rapping when I met Moke, but my cousin moved over from the East Coast from Nova Scotia, from Dartmouth actually. And I mean, growing up in Langford, I was AC/DC, Sabbath, Metallica. I didn't tell anyone I listened to Bryan Adams, but I love Bryan Adams. When I go back to the house, I listen to Bryan Adams. I love Bryan Adams. But it wasn't a very Langford thing to kind of do back growing up in that era, in the area that I grew up in. My cousin was like, yo, you mess with rap music? I'm like, no, dude, I'm totally rock. It's like, yo, but you do poetry and you love being on stage, because I would always act in the, you know, end of the year school class projects and all that kind of stuff. So he plays me this tape, Steezo, Crazy Noise. Steezo was a backup dancer for EPMD at the time. He dropped this cassette called Crazy Noise. And I listened to it, like, hold on. You're telling me I can do my poetry and my theatrical stuff in one place all together? Yeah, that's what rap is. Never looked back. So thank you, Steezo. I'm making crazy noise.
Yeah, so you were doing theater before that, and you were doing poetry before that, so that kind of just combined into rap, and you were able to put that forward. So, and then, you know, obviously, like, meeting Mocha is a huge part of your story as well. Yeah, and what can you say to, I mean, just as we're talking about how, you know, hip-hop is 50 years old, what can you say to, like, the length of your guys' relationship as collaborators and, you know, like, the brotherhood that you guys have, you know, working for so long together?
That's a great question. I met Moke when I was graduating grade 10. I'm graduating grade 10, but, right, you know, they do this ceremonial thing for, you know, whatever reason. And I was vice president of student council. So a student council, we were the only people that got to invite a friend from outside of the school. So my friend Dana Theven was secretary of treasury, and she was skateboarding with Moke like basically all year, and said, yo, I know this dude that skateboards that raps, and he's nasty, and you're in a group. I was in a group with a couple people from my junior high school. You might want to meet him, and I'm bringing him to the grade 10 graduation. So Moke rolls up. We could tell you, because like it was yesterday.
Right.
He rolls up in this olive green suit with half his head shaved and 3 dreadlocks about this long hanging off the other side of his head. Who? What? Hold on. You're the dude from Sound Advice? Sound Advice was a local Victoria rap group.
Right.
Was him and Dub Nut One. Back then we called him just Dub. Degree and T Double was their DJ. And they were, it was them and one other group from Victoria, Disco, Disturbed Company. And that was pretty much it. But I loved Sound Advice. They were my hometown heroes as far as rapping goes, right? So I met Moke. Yeah, man, come over to my house. So I skipped school the next day. We went to his place, and he's playing the piano. This dude, by the way, is mega talented. If y'all don't know, Mocha is...
Do your research.
Come on, man. Just go, man.
Yeah.
Go to his crib. He's playing piano, and we started playing Ornette Coleman, who's a very progressive jazz player, on a loop tape. So back in the day, before samplers, there were samplers, I'm sure, but we couldn't afford any of them. So we used to do loop tapes, right? So you get a tape in a double cassette deck, and you'd loop it for 10 seconds, pause on the one tape side, and then rewind the tape, play it again, and try to make a beat.
Yeah.
And try to hit it on the same spot.
Right.
But you couldn't always hit it on the exact same spot if you weren't that good at it, which we really would. And we just sit at his house, and I'm surprised I graduated, man. I'll put it that way. Okay, I went into 11th and grade 12, and I was skipping so much school. We were coming to Vancouver. We slept in a recycling bin. We were making loop tapes, and we just started freestyling a cappella on the street corners. And so, yes, if it wasn't for Mocha,
Right.
there's no way that you're holding this mic and me being able to talk into it.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Shout out to my brother.
Less so to him for sure, man. So what year are you talking about when you're acapellaing down here in Vancouver? What time is that?
Ooh, that would have been, I graduated in 93, so that would have been probably 1990. I started coming over here pretty much full time.
Right.
Yeah.
And who are you kind of like looking to as like, or like just who are you listening to locally from Vancouver? Like what was happening at that time here? Was there anything happening?
Oh yeah, well Rascals were rocking and rolling, right? They signed to Calabash Records at the time. That was everyone's, and shout out Rascals, that was everyone's goal at the time, was to get signed to Calabash.
Right.
Right? Like, damn, Rascals, Show and Tell, which later became What the Hell, which was Mad Child and Flip Out. Had a group before Swollen, when Moke and I had Split Sphere, which we're performing under tonight. Those both groups were, again, before like pre-Swollen years. I mean, there was so much stuff going on. To name all the individual MCs,
Right,
would probably take up all the time that you have for this interview. But and we all just used to hang out, man. There were battles, there were freestyle ciphers on the corner. We weren't even old enough to get into clubs, but we just ended up running into each other on street corners and freestyling and battling and beatboxing and doing all sorts. And then it was really cool because everyone kind of rolled together. All the B-boys and B-girls, all the MCs, all the DJs, all the graffiti writers. So it wasn't just one thing. One whole day would encompass everything leading into the night, which was usually graffiti time.
Right.
So even if you were an MC or a DJ or a B-boy or a B-girl, you'd probably also be, even if you weren't bombing, you'd be out on the yard anyway, or any of the yards or walls that were around, and you kind of just everyone supported each other. It was beautiful, man.
Right.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Right, and that's when, like the different kind of pillars of the culture are like interacting with each other. And, like we were just talking before, and I was telling you about the cypher that we throw. And, like we're just so, passionate about live hip hop culture, cypher culture, and like exactly what you're talking about, being there live in the moment. So like, why is that important, and why was that like a fundamental, or like a training ground for you? Like, why is it important to show up to those things if you're an artist trying to improve and grow?
In my day, it was very impromptu. There were very little times that it was planned.
Right.
You just kind of knew this corner of Robson and Thurlow, 8 o'clock on a Friday, everyone's going to be there. So I guess it became more of a word of mouth kind of thing than a planned thing. But as the years went on, I started traveling, living in California and bouncing back and forth. The importance to me was always just that you can't beat the vibe of being in a cypher, right? And you look across, one of my favorite times was going to New York. We're doing, Swim was performing at the Rocksteady reunion. And there was this place called the New Eurekan Cafe. And all the dope, like Pumpkinhead, all these dope New York MCs were there. And I entered this battle. But I'm going off the top of the head.
Right.
That's Coast style, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Not on the East, like people don't do that, but it just was a very specific at that time, a very West Coast thing to go off the top of the head, freestyle as we know it in the West, right?
Right.
And it was a round robin thing. You had to go round by round to be able to get through to the next thing. And I did my first round. I didn't make it through. Heck, the judges were like, yo, there's no way you can say that. There's no way you're doing that off the top of your head.
No way, they didn't believe you?
Yeah, they didn't yell. I'm looking at my homies in the crowd. I'm like, there's like 3 of us.
Right.
It's like 500 New York cats in the building. Like, oh, no, dude, you can't do that. That's not. I was like, yo, no, for real. I'm just doing like I'm thinking of it as I'm going. So Pumpkinhead ended up winning. And then afterwards, it's like, yo, I'm going outside. He's like, dude, that was dope. He's like, I saw it, but I was on judging things. So we just went outside and formed this big cypher with me and Dave I and Zodak, or with the original Swollen Members DJ. He's a nasty artist. And he's beatboxing, and we're just all standing in a cypher freestyle. So to me, that as a rapper, MC, that's the truth.
Yeah.
You stand in a cypher and you can come off the top. I love if you can write. I love writing. I hats off to all my dope MC partners that can rap and write dope lyrics. I love that. Freestyling, saw Souls of Mischief here last week. I've been in cyphers with those cats. Shout out to Hyro all day. We came to that show last week. That's the Van.
Yep.
When you can do that thing, you realize you've really tuned into the appreciation of the mastery of what being of a master of ceremony actually is. And it's a bit of a different skew on it, if you will. And you guys have been throwing these ciphers, so you can see just the thought process. How's the mind working? What are you looking at? What are you touching? What are you feeling? What was your memory from last week? How are you putting it all in a sentence? And it rhymes.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. That's the
Freestyling, ciphers, come on, man.
Yeah,
That's the truth.
You're speaking my language, man.
Word.
Yeah. Like I remember, even like speaking of Souls of Mischief, like I remember like hearing like, I'm pretty sure like they got their record deal by like basically like shutting down a convention by like freestyling and like standing in front of the elevators that like these executives that were going out to the convention, which they weren't a part of. They just like stood in front of these elevators and just like freestyle that rapped, and like nobody had seen like people just be able to like rap about like the clothes that the person's wearing in front of them like that, and like that's how they ended up getting like
That's crazy.
famous and blowing up. So
Souls of Mischief, basically, and Dell, like Hyro, all of Hyro.
yeah,
We're in a story that we don't have time to tell right now.
Right.
Basically, we're the reason that made me make an ultimate decision from either pursuing my dreams of becoming a chef or becoming an MC.
whoa,
And you can see the choice that I made. And I still love cooking. Kind of got lucky that out in it, but yeah. So yeah, shout out to the Hyro Imperium.
absolutely. So you still love cooking? Do you still love rapping?
Love them both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I also like eating.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for your time, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything you want to say to the people before you sit down here?
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Word up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 50 years.
50 years, you're money, man.
More. It's